Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 signs that you've just shifted timelines. Now, what the heck does that mean? I'll tell you what it means, because it's extremely profound. It means that you have been in the process of accelerating your vibrational frequency along this awakening path to the point where you've actually lifted yourself into a more ideal timeline, a more ideal life path, and all that comes with it that is more representative and more reflecting of this newer high vibe state you've built yourself up to. At the core, we are all powerful, vibrational, eternal souls. But as we came into this lifetime, we allowed ourselves to be kind of cloaked in this 3D density. But this ascension path that a lot of us are on now, especially now in 2020, it's allowing a lot of this density to kind of fall away and give way to our light, to our spirit that is now, in a sense, running the show, living our life, guiding our thinking, guiding our actions. And as we continue to separate from the 3D reality that once held us captive, we are more like, we're like free as a bird now, and can now choose timelines that are just far more, again, in harmony and resonating more deeply with our true preferences. So what does this mean on a basic sort of practical level? It means that when you jump timelines, which a lot of you are right now, it means you're going to have a better career. You're going to have a more satisfying career, more abundance, more freedom, better health, you'll attract more of your soulmate type of relationships, and your day-to-day experience through each and every day of life is going to be far more elevated, far more in the flow, with more synchronicity, with more joy, and more of a lighter, expansive way of going through your day. So it's a phenomenal thing to have happen, but the process of shifting timelines, which you're all going to find, you're going to relate with different elements of this reading, you're going to be at different stages. The process can be kind of tricky, confusing, and sometimes downright very, very scary. So this video is to kind of give you the guidance so you can make this powerful shift. And a lot of you are going to find you've already made the shift, and you can just pat yourself on the back and celebrate. Number 1. You've been seeing in your own individual intuitive way up ahead into probable realities, probable timelines. Now, a lot of you are saying, no, that's not happening to me. I bet it is. Hear me out. I'll give you a good example. So back in 2015 or 16, around that time, I saw, believe it or not, the movie The Secret for the first time. And like a lot of you who saw that for the first time, I was like, wow. I bought into it, and I still kind of do. I was like, wow, okay, I have an influence in how my life manifests. My thoughts, my energies, they will ripple out and eventually manifest for me in my physical reality experience. Hooray. So what does one do normally when they discover this? Well, I did what any person would do. I intended and thought about winning the lottery. Now, I went to the extreme with this, to the point where it's almost embarrassing to confess. I had vision boards. I was meditating all the time and visualizing the winning numbers coming to me. I was buying tons of lottery tickets. And as I did this, I put sort of a ridiculous amount of time and energy and focus into manifesting the lottery winnings. And I kept seeing all these synchronicities and kind of indications that I'm actually making headway. It really felt like I was doing that. So what happened though, I started having these dreams. I started having these dreams of me sort of being up to no good. What I mean by that is I believe that my primary energy was to come into a lot of money really quickly without really having to work with it. That's kind of, in a sense, what winning the lottery is, obviously. So I was putting out that energy. I want a lot of money, a lot of money, a lot of money. So I'd have these dreams of me getting large sums of money, but in kind of a shady way. For example, I had a dream to cut my telephone line that kind of ran through my backyard at the time, so it would come and cause a house fire, and then I could collect the insurance money. That was the kind of stuff that was coming to me, and it seemed like I was being guided to do that, but it wasn't really like that. The other part, the person who has a conscience was like, no, That's wrong. That's dangerous. I'm not doing that. But I started feeling like pulled in this direction and getting all these ideas of what one who's desperate to come into money would sort of experience unknowingly. It would cause a distance between me and my family. It would cause me to miss out on perhaps like a very rewarding life and life purpose because my focus was all about the money. So anyway, I was getting this foresight in the form of dreams and synchronicity to kind of let me to sort of suggest, hey, do you want to continue going down this path now that you know all that comes with it? And of course, the answer was no. Now you're going to have your own way of communicating that to yourself, but communicate that to yourself. If you're on a suboptimal timeline, you will. Number 2, a lot of people will get what I call negative synchronicity. It's kind of like what I just described above, but more specifically in regards to synchronicity. Another situation in my life was when I was guided to move out of my house, closed down at the time I owned a gym and I had a business in my basement, and I had this knowing that it was time to really follow my dreams and move out to San Diego from Michigan and live out my purpose. And when that was happening to me, I started to get this negative synchronicity of fire. I had this like sixth sense that if I clung to my familiar life and didn't follow my dreams the way I really wanted to, there would be some kind of fire. And I started seeing fire trucks and fire signs, synchronicities up the freaking wazoo. It freaked me out. I didn't know what the heck it meant. And it wasn't that I just was being drawn to like the little, those things on the wall that unleash the sprinklers that say fire on it, and fire hydrants and fire everything. I was just seeing that, but it wasn't just the fact that I was seeing them, it's what it did to me inside. Whenever I'd see a fire synchronicity, it produced this fear, this like, this like knot of like unpleasant energy in my body. And I had this sense, like, I just had this knowing that if I was to cling out of fear to my gym, to my house, etc., then I'm gonna there's a fire is sort of part of that timeline. So that information was enough for me to like let go, as I already was telling myself to do, and allow myself to jump into the unknown and experience this awesome, awesome life. So you might be getting negative synchronicity for yourself, and it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. And there's a huge buffer zone, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here, but it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. It's just a way of communicating to yourself that you're not really on the best timeline. You think you are, your mind wants something, but your heart is in conflict, and your heart in this new energy is always the source of guidance that's wisest to heed. Okay? Number 3, in the middle of these timeline shifts, you'll feel like your life is just going through a major transition and transformation. There'll be big things in your life trying to pull away, because you know it's time to close that chapter. And parallel to that, there'll be these new ideas, these new there'll be some kind of an awareness of a path you'd much rather take. Again, for me, it was the difference between staying where I was comfortable, running my gym and running my business in my basement, or letting go of that, letting go of the safety, letting go of the familiarity and jumping into the complete unknown where my heart wanted to go. I had a resonance that this is gonna succeed, this is my highest path, but I'm afraid. And it's kind of like this, you might feel like torn on the inside. Like, I gotta make a choice here. I need to make a decision, because you'll feel yourself kind of like building momentum in two different trajectories, and it's a very uncomfortable experience. And also your external life will be very kind of up in the air as well, because it's just, we're moving into different realities, we're moving into different timelines fairly quickly. Whereas in the past, when the vibration on the planet was much lower, it might take an entire lifetime to play out a certain theme. But now, because we're just experiencing life at a very accelerated rate, due to the Ascension process, we're able to kind of go from theme to theme to theme to theme rather quickly. But it's a completely new way of going through life, and it can be very scary, very just seem overwhelming But it's just us getting used to this new pace of going through life. And as we learn to kind of jump timelines, I'm going through one right now, which is why I'm talking about this. As we do this once or twice, we know it's an immense blessing. It's almost like we've been walking up these stairs at a slow incline with a heavy backpack, and all of a sudden to our left we see this gorgeous, pristine elevator that says, hey, you want to go up like 50 floors? Take off the freaking backpack, and there's a huge party going on up there. All your friends are there. It's gonna be awesome. Your life's gonna improve, and it could be happen just like that. And then it's like, I do, but geez, all I have ever known is this staircase. This backpack, even though it's heavy and burdensome, well, who will I be without it? It's like, it's scary. But when you're at that crossroads, the backpack becomes heavier, the stairs get steeper, you're feeling exhausted, you're sweating, and you know it's time to put it all down, to let go completely and step on the elevator. And once you do it, up to the 50th floor, rocking out, feeling amazing. So it's a crazy blessing that we all get to experience in this lifetime. It's never been like this, and now it is. Number 4, you'll feel it as you shift in an extremely liberating and positive way. So recently, I am going through my own kind of timeline jump, if you will, and I've been torn for a while because I've built up a life heavily involved with having like kind of a large social media presence and doing a lot of online stuff. And I've been feeling guided at like a soul level to do less of that and to start writing and working with people. It's a huge shift for me. And I've been getting these signs that like, listen, Vic, it's time to close a chapter, this and that. And I was clinging, and there's a lot of breakdown, that whole conflict's been going on. But the other day when I was driving to a retreat with my friend Josh, he helps with the retreats, he's an assistant. And I was kind of telling him all of this, telling him how I've like got this conflict going on. And we were talking, and as I was like voicing this, these ideas were coming to me. And in this case, it had to do with coaching people and working with people, something I haven't thought of doing in a long time. And as I was thinking of this, like really kind of putting energy into this other type of timeline, like that feeling in my chest of that conflict started to just go away. And I felt myself kind of aligning with this more optimal path. And so you'll kind of feel it when your thinking and your emotions and just your intentions are in alignment with this far superior path of yours. I remember that car ride with Josh. It felt like there's no track of time, like it happens when you're in the flow. And we were just like in this high vibe conversation where it was like our higher selves were just talking to one another. And it just felt so right in my heart, in my body, in my soul. So this information, it can be tough to look at, like, oh my goodness, I'm going down the wrong path. It can feel like. It's not saying you're going down the wrong path. It's saying there's a way better path that you're like, you've worked yourself up to now. So all this information, it's nothing to be concerned of. It creates a very natural response of reconsidering your options. And as you do stop and it gets your attention, you start pondering, that's when the new ideas, the flow comes in. And when this flow comes in and you start to like kind of realize you're on this right track, you're on the optimal path, you'll feel just drawn to it like a moth to a flame, and it'll just feel like everything is right with the world. And number 5, there might be residual energies even though you've shifted timelines. On one level, at times you'll feel like, you know what? I feel a resolve inside of myself. I feel like I have made the right choice. I'm on the right path, and I'm making good headway in this new optimal direction. But because the negative synchronicity can sometimes be so like so off-putting, we'll say, you might have like almost like echoes of that experience of the time when you were were heading down the other timeline. So when you make this shift, don't freak out if you still see the synchronicities, you still have certain dreams. You're gonna feel it in your body, in your heart, and in your soul that you're on the right path, but there might be some residual. And what's gonna happen is sort of a shifting in the momentum, whereas before it was all these red flags that you're going down a path that's not of your highest good. And then as you get on this new path, you'll start having just more ideas, more momentum, more energy, more feelings of resonance, more opportunities sort of pulling you along in this other path. And then before you know it, you're gonna be like, you're gonna feel like you've ascended. You're gonna feel like you've shifted into a brand new reality when everything in your life is gonna change in an extremely positive way, and that will be a distant memory, that whole transitional experience that you may or may not be in right now. I was hesitant to make a video like this because it's such a serious topic, and it's something that really floored me in my own life when it was happening to me. But now that it's happened more than one time, I feel more comfortable talking about it. And man, a video like this would have been so helpful to me when I was going through that. So even if this is not going to relate to all of you, this might be a little bit too deep down the rabbit hole for a lot of you, I still felt inspired to make this video for those who are going through this exact type of shift, to let you know you are going through one of the most profound, life-changing upgrades of your entire life, and that you've gotten yourself to a point where you work with spirit in your own way well enough that you can handle this type of information, handle this type of shift in your and rate of shifting in your frequency. And man, if this is you, you have the potential to live an extremely amazing life. Okay, so with that said, I hope you enjoyed this. I wish you all well with your shift. Have an amazing day. And by the way, if you want to stay connected to messages like this, I have a free, what I call an awakening newsletter, where I send out 3 to 4 times a week channeled messages just like this, but in written form right into your email inbox. It's totally free. You can check it out if you'd like. I'll leave a link down below at the top of the description box. Check it out. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Have an amazing day. Peace.